So I did 100 miles for the second time in my life recently, and it's exhausting. It's a big deal to me. If you're somebody who does 100 miles all the time, awesome. This video is probably not for you. If you're somebody who's only done it a couple times or have never done it, this video is about me sharing some things that I've learned and some things that I should have done. So my name is Johnny. I love being on a bike. I did a lot of biking this summer. I did a lot of long days. I didn't do 100 miles. It's been a few years since the time I did 100 miles. At least a few years. So the other day I was like, I have to do it. I found out somebody was doing a century and they invited me to do a century that, like, I don't know, you paid for, and it goes up north of Chicago. And I was like, wait, I'm just going to do that on my own. But that's a great idea. I should go do 100 miles soon. So here's some things to think about. Firstly, I would say 100 miles is mentally exhausting. But I'm scared about the 50 miles back because I am a little tired, as well as being physically exhausting. So the day before, even a couple days before, is kind of key, and it's something I could be better at even after the second ride, of getting myself ready, because the day of, it's so mentally exhausting, you don't want to give yourself other things to think of. So the day before, set yourself up for success. For me, that looked like airing up my tires on my bike. This is a Kona Sutra LTD. It's steel. It's a big 2.35-inch tire, so it's a slower bike. Whoa. It's a slower bike. So I want to give myself every advantage I can. So airing up the tires a little bit more than I would have them normally. I like them usually a little cushy. Airing them up a little bit more. Oiling the chain just so the chain is more efficient and the drive chain is more efficient. And honestly, just going over the bike and make sure I'm not carrying extra gear. I had this thing on the bike day of, little frame bag, and just making sure I wasn't carrying extra crap in there. I found a few things I didn't need. And I had some salsa anything cages on the front. I'm like, why am I carrying this? I literally went out and got a smaller mirror too. This mirror is like a little small end mirror, and I had one that kind of sticks out. I'm just like, if I'm going 100 miles, I want to be efficient. As efficient as I can be on a relatively slow bike. If you can do all that stuff the night before, you're just going to feel, it's going to feel so much better. The other things I would do the night before is gather all your gear. For me, I can, like, a little curveball of like trying to find a glove or a missing hat or just trying to remember anything the morning of. That kind of sucks. 100 miles is such a thing that don't send yourself the chores of running around and doing stuff. Get the food together that you want to bring, and the electrolytes and the caffeine source before the day of, because it's just a hassle to try to handle those things on a bike, trying to find out where you could pick these things up, making sure you have them on hand. Bring most of your calories and have them ready to go. Water! I underpacked water. I brought this guy. I was like, I'll fill up water as I go. I ended up doing a trail that was new to me. It's the Des Plaines River Trail. It's a little bit west of Chicago. It goes all the way up to Wisconsin, and I'm in North Chicago. And I'm used to having a lot more like water fountains on the trail system I'm on that I ride more normally. And I wasted time trying to figure out my water situation. Gather all those things. Gather clothing, gather your butt balm, your sunscreen, be showered, lay your clothes out, have everything ready. It's just, it makes the morning so much better. I should have treated myself and done that. The night before too, this might sound obvious, but don't even have one beer. There's so many times where I've like had a long day and I drank 2 beers the day before. I'm like, yeah, I could feel it, especially on a long day. And get to sleep early if you can. I often can't fall asleep early, so for me that looks like sleeping in the day of the big ride and then just knowing I'm gonna go later into the night, and that's totally fine. If you're going on a new route, one, make sure it's beautiful. You should enjoy your 100 miles, but also know where your stops are and your bathroom options are. It's just, it's just not the most fun trying to figure that stuff out while you're on the bike. So morning of, ideally you're well slept and your stuff is gathered. Should have done that myself. And have a good breakfast, obviously. For me, that means already starting out with some proteins, fats, and carbs. I feel disgusting if I just eat sugar all day. And I'm actually not used to eating breakfast early in the morning. I usually wait till noon to eat. So force feed yourself if you have to. Get that caffeine source in. And get out the door. So once you're on the bike ride, I set a timer for every 45 minutes to eat something. I don't have a power meter. I don't know how many calories exactly I'm burning. I've used some apps to try to do the math, but it's like 100 miles. I should probably take in around 4,000 something calories that whole day. So I spread it out as like trying to eat 200 to 250 calories every hour to 45 minutes. I set a timer for every 45 minutes and nibbled on something. It might be a little, I don't know if it was overkill or underkill. It felt kind of like the right ballpark for me. I'm 170 pounds. I'm biking like 10 miles per hour on a slower bike, sometimes on gravel. I don't know what my energy output is, but I know that it sucks to bonk. Once you've passed the threshold of like you don't have enough glycogen, sugar, whatever in your muscles, and you've used it up, you're done. It's hard to recover from that. So you have to make sure you're eating obviously before that happens, in which for me that means eating before I'm hungry and being kind of regimented about it. Also, just finding food along the way that lands good on my stomach. I end up doing like a massive bottle of chocolate milk because I know it's got sugar, protein, and fat in it. And like getting cheese sticks and bringing cheese and bagels and stuff like that. Eat early and often. Also, what a great day to eat fun food. I have this little feed bag on here. I love this feed bag. It's so fun to like grab little snacks out of it on your bike. It's like, I already love biking. Everyone loves fun snacks. There's nothing more joyful than reaching into a bag designated for snacks and just eating food knowing that there's no real caloric guilt for what you're eating as long as you're within your calories for the day. So that's fun. On my bike ride this summer, I did like maybe 17 days of biking without a plan, and I would always get like these little fluffy gummies from the gas station. I'll show a picture of them right here. They're so good. Just complete junk food. Obviously try to be healthy if you can, if you've got some healthy options, but sometimes you just got to get those carbohydrates in. In addition to treating yourself along the way, I think it's fun to treat yourself at some point to some like fun food. So plan on your route if you can, like a fun stop. For me, it ended up being Shake Shack and getting salty French fries and Dr. Pepper. It was wonderful. I had to stop a lot because I didn't make plans for food, so I stopped at gas stations and got some like combos and Gatorade, and then probably like 40 miles away from home, once it was getting dark, I knew that the first time I did 100 miles, like the last like 25 miles or so, I ran out of food, and it was so late at night that there was no gas stations, there was no grocery stores open that I was passing, and I wasn't passing any gas stations. I messed up. So I went and got a ton of carbohydrates from Whole Foods before I left. Here's one of my other big tips. Tell people you know you're doing 100 miles. It's fun to get encouragement. I don't know if you've ever ran a race before or gone and cheered someone on in a marathon. That's kind of a big deal. The first time I did it, I told my improv team, I'm on an improv team, I'm a performer, and they were all cheering me on. I got home and I was at like 91 miles. I was like, shit. And I texted my group because they were all hanging out. I was like, hey guys, I got 9 miles more. And everyone's like, do it. It's huge. This last trip I posted in my Instagram stories, and it was really fun to like poke around on my phone and see people giving me like little encouragement. So tell people you know, it's fun. Obviously, it's a safety thing too. If you don't come back, people are going to go looking for you. Tell people where you're going. Also, mentally, another little mental trick is, for me, definitely the out and back is important. If I'm like biking in a way where I know I could just kind of quit and take a shortcut home, it's too tempting. And in fact, this time I didn't even take a trip that would take me along a metro option, which is a train that runs to and from where I live. I just avoided it. So I knew when I was at 50 miles in, I had to come back. Charge up your batteries, charge up your lights. Yeah. If you haven't tackled 100 miles, how do you know when you're ready? So one summer I was training and I had like 50-mile days, 60-mile days. I was coming back and I was so tired. I asked a good friend of mine who's done 100-mile rides. I was like, dude, when are you ready to take that leap to 100? I'm so tired at 50 or 60. He's like, when you've done 50 or 60, he's like, the next time, just do 50 more. I feel like there's a little bit of an oversimplification of how to know when you're ready, but for me, there's been some truth in that. If I've done in the one season, like consistent biking, doesn't even have to be consistent 60-mile days, but if I've done consistent biking throughout the week and I've had like a lot of 20-mile days and then a good handful of 50 and 60s, usually for me, that's good. And if I've had those and I'm not having any problem, like I'm not having like some bad knee pain or anything like that. That's kind of it. I feel like 100 miles is such an adventure, and I personally love getting a late start and going, like I got back at midnight on this last trip. It's such an adventure. It's so fun. I'd highly recommend it. Again, could have done on a more efficient bike and gone faster, but it's nice to do it on a comfortable bike. If you have any tips or tricks for yourself that you've learned doing 100-mile days, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. If anything was valuable or you had any insights about what I said, you're like, that's pish-posh nonsense, comment below. I'd love to hear what's pish-posh nonsense. I would love to learn more, too, about doing longer days in the saddle. Thanks for watching. Oh, like, subscribe, comment, thumbs up. That would be great. This is a small channel. It would help the channel grow. Thank you.